Hello students, in today's lecture we are going to learn about thermal properties of matter, NCERT section 10.6 to 10.7. This is disclaimer. Learning objective. By the end of this lecture, you will able to understand the concept of heat capacity, specific heat capacity, molar specific heat capacity and calorimetry. Alright. So in today's lecture, we will cover first 10.6 specific heat capacity. Second, 10.7 calorimetry. So, specific heat capacity. So, imagine you have two vessels, vessel A and vessel B. One made of metal and one made of plastic. Alright. You pour hot water into both. Now here question arises, which one gets hot quickly? First A or second B? Which one? The metal one feels hotter. Question arises why? Because it takes in heat faster. Alright. So this leads us to a key question, and that is how much heat is needed to raise the temperature of a substance. So this is where heat capacity comes. Alright. So if we talk about the definition, so heat capacity S is the amount of heat energy required to raise the temperature of a substance by 1 unit. So mathematically, S heat capacity is equal to amount of heat required, that is delta T, to raise the temperature of a substance by 1 unit, that is delta T. Alright. S is equal to delta Q divided by delta T, where the SI unit of heat capacity is joule per Kelvin. Alright, joule per Kelvin, where delta Q is the amount of heat supplied to the substance to change its temperature from T to T plus delta T. It means the initial temperature is T. When we supplied heat, the temperature will change T to T plus delta T. So there are two main types of heat capacity. First, specific heat capacity denoted by small s. Second, molar heat capacity denoted by C. Alright. So first we talk about the specific heat capacity. So basically, specific heat capacity denoted by small s of a substance is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of a unit mass of the substance by 1 unit. It means S is equal to small s is equal to capital S divided by M. Amount of heat required raise the temperature by 1 unit of a mass M. So S is equal to 1 by M into delta Q divided by delta T. SI unit of specific heat capacity is joule per kg per Kelvin. From this relation, S is equal to capital S divided by small m. We know S capital S is the heat capacity, that is delta Q divided by delta T. So here we just put the value and we will get the small s, specific heat capacity. Example, specific heat capacity of water is approximately 4.18 joule per gram per degree Celsius. This means it takes 4.18 joules, 4.186 joules of energy to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. Alright. So, according to definition, amount of specific heat capacity S of a substance is the amount of heat. So, here uh, the the specific heat capacity of water is this one. Amount of heat is 4.186 joules of energy is required for 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. Alright. Second is molar heat capacity. So if the amount of substance is specified in terms of moles, or we can say any particular uh, in terms of moles or particles. In that case, we use molar specific heat capacity C. Alright. So molar heat capacity of a substance is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 mole of a substance by 1 unit. Because here we specified the term, that is moles. So C is equal to molar specific heat capacity is equal to S divided by mu. We know the value of S, that is delta Q divided by delta T. Just put here. So C is equal to 1 by mu into delta Q divided by delta T. Alright. Amount of heat required is delta Q and raise the temperature by 1 mole of substance by 1 unit, that is delta. If we talk about the SI unit of the specific heat capacity, that is joule per mole per Kelvin. How? So the SI unit of heat is joule divided by delta T. For delta T, the unit is Kelvin, so per Kelvin, and for mu is mole, so per mole, joule per mole per Kelvin. Example, molar heat capacity of water is 75.3 joule per mole per Kelvin. It means this value 75.3 joule per mole per Kelvin represents amount of heat energy required to raise the temperature by 1 mole of water by 1 Kelvin, or we can say 1 degree Celsius. Alright. Now suppose if you have aluminium with a specific heat capacity of 0.9 Kelvin, 0.9 joule per gram per Kelvin and molar mass of 26.98 gram per mole. So its molar heat capacity would be Cm equal to 0.9 joule per gram per Kelvin into 26.98 gram per mole. So it will be, when we solving this, you will be get 24.28 joule per mole per Kelvin. So this is the molar heat capacity. Alright. Why we called molar? Because here we specified, here we amount of substances specified in terms of moles. That's why we called molar heat capacity. For gases, the molar specific heat capacity are defined in two ways. First is molar specific heat at constant volume, denoted by Cv. So here volume is constant. So we can say molar heat capacity at constant volume is a heat required to raise the temperature of unit mole of a gas by 1 unit at a constant volume. Example, imagine heating gas inside a completely sealed rigid metal box. In that case, what happens? Since box cannot expand, yes or no? Because the volume of the rigid metal box is fixed. Alright. So all the heat added increase the internal energy of the gas. So when the internal energy of the gas is increased, so temperature will also increase, or we can say raising its temperature, because internal energy depends on temperature. If the internal energy increases, temperature will also increase, or we can say vice versa. All right. So here volume is fixed. So this is the an example of molar specific heat and constant volume. Our second type is molar specific heat at constant pressure. So here pressure is constant. So we talk about the definition. So it is we can say heat required to raise the temperature of 1 unit mole of a gas by 1 unit of at constant pressure. So if we talk about the smaller specific heat at constant pressure, here pressure is constant. Let's understand it more uh, let's understand it in simple words with an example. So imagine heating gas inside a balloon. So as you add heat inside a balloon, what happens? The gas becomes hotter. Yes or no? And also pushes the balloon outward. So due to this pushing, the size of balloon will expand. So part of the heat increases the gas temperature, and the rest is used to do work by expanding the balloon. Okay, so here the volume of the balloon is changes. All right, so here pressure is constant but volume is changes. All right, if we talk about the difference between molar specific heat at constant volume, so here volume is constant, and uh, molar specific heat at constant pressure, here pressure is constant. All right, so in CV the size is fixed, volume is fixed, and in CP pressure is fixed, or we can say constant. All right, specific heat capacity of some substances at room temperature and atmospheric pressure. So here we have a table 10.3 that shows the specific heat capacity of some substances at room temperature and atmospheric pressure. So if we talk about the aluminium, so specific heat capacity is 900 joule per kg per Kelvin. All right. If we talk about the carbon, the specific heat capacity is 506.5. Similarly, for copper, 386.4 joule per kg per Kelvin. For lead, it will be 127.7. For silver, 236.1. For tungsten, 134.4. For water, this one, 4186 joule per kg per Kelvin. All right. And for ice, the specific heat capacity is 2060 joule per kg per Kelvin. For glass, 840 joule per kg per Kelvin. For iron, 450 joule per kg per Kelvin. For kerosene, 2118 joule per kg per Kelvin. For edible oil, 1965. For mercury, 140. All right. So this is the specific heat capacity of some substances at room temperature and atmospheric pressure. All right. Water's thermal properties. So water has the highest specific heat capacity compared to other substances, and that is 4186 joule per kg per Kelvin. All right. High specific heat capacity of water means it takes longer to heat up or cool down. It means specific heat capacity is we can say directly related to heat up or cool down. Due to this property, water is used in a car radiators as a coolant, all right, and in a hot water bags as a heater. So this is the most important property of the water. As specific heat capacity of water means it takes longer to heat up or cool down. That's why we use as a water in a car as a car radiators and hot water bags as a heater. All right. This is why coastal areas stay cooler in summer as seawater heats up slowly. And in contrast, deserts area heat up quickly during day and cool rapidly at night because sand has low specific heat capacity. All right. Molar specific heat capacity of some gases. So here we have some gases: helium, hydrogen, nitrogen, O2, CO2. So molar specific heat, Cp and Cv. So for helium, Cp is 20.8 joule per mole per Kelvin and Cv 12.5 joule per mole per Kelvin. Hydrogen gas, Cp is 28.8 joule per mole per Kelvin and Cv 20.4 joule per mole per Kelvin. For nitrogen gas, 29.1 joule per mole per Kelvin Cp and Cv is 20.8 joule per mole per Kelvin. O2 29.4 joule per mole per Kelvin and Cv is 21.1. Similarly, CO2 37.0 and Cv is 28.5. All right. So from this table, the CO2 have a large have a higher molar heat capacity. See, at constant pressure. All right. Next is calorimetry. So here question arises: what is calorimetry? So basically, calorimetry is a technique that is used to quantify the heat transfer associated with a process. It is just a technique. This could be a chemical reaction, a physical change like melting or boiling. Or what about the calorimeter? So calorimeter is a device used to measure heat changes, and this is the uh, experimental setup. It's essentially in an insulated container. This one container is insulated. That helps minimize heat exchange with surroundings. It means if the container, this insulated ring here is present, so that minimize the heat exchange with surroundings, and that is important. It consists of a metallic vessel like this and a stereo, both kept inside an insulating jacket to minimize heat loss to the surrounding. Basically, the outer layer of the calorimeter just prevents to minimize heat loss. All right. Principle of calorimetry. When a hot body and a cold body are brought into thermal contact, it means we have a two body, hot body and cold body, and when they are brought into thermal contact in an isolated system, heat lost by the hot body is equal to heat gained by the cold body. Means the amount of heat lost by a hot body is equal to the amount of heat gained by the cold body. This is the principle of calorimetry. The condition is they are brought into thermal contact in an isolated system. All right. So we can say heat lost is equal to heat gain. This holds true if there is a no heat loss to the surroundings and no change of state. Example 10. A sphere of 0.047 kg aluminium is placed for sufficient time in a vessel containing boiling water so that the sphere is at 100 degrees Celsius. It is then immediately transferred to 0.14 kg copper calorimeter containing 0.25 kg water at 20 degrees Celsius. The temperature of water rises and attains a steady state at 23 degrees Celsius. Calculate the specific heat capacity of the aluminum. So in this question, you have to find out the specific heat capacity of the aluminum. All right. Please solve this question or think about it. Let's see the solution. So given terms, mass of the aluminum sphere Ma is equal to 0.047 kg. And initial temperature of aluminum, that is 100 degrees Celsius. But the SI unit of the temperature is Kelvin. So here we need to convert degrees Celsius to Kelvin by adding 273.15. So it will be 373.15 Kelvin. All right. This is the temperature in unit in Kelvin. Mass of the copper calorimeter is MC is equal to 0.14 kg. And mass of the water MW is equal to 0.25 kg. Initial temperature of the water and calorimeter is 20 degrees Celsius. This is also given in degrees Celsius. So here we need to convert it in Kelvin by adding 273.15 Kelvin. So it will be 293.15 Kelvin. All right. Final steady state temperature 23 degrees Celsius. Now we need to convert in Kelvin by adding 273.15 Kelvin. So it will be 296.15 Kelvin. All right. And specific heat capacity of water is 4.18 into 10 raised to the power 3 joule per kg per Kelvin. And specific heat capacity of copper is 0.386 into 10 raised to the power 3 joule per kg per Kelvin. So to solve this question, here we will use the principle of calorie. Amount of heat gain is equal to amount of heat loss. So let specific heat capacity of aluminum be SA. Specific heat capacity is defined as this one. Amount of heat, that is delta Q divided by delta T into 1/m. This is we already discussed in previous slide. So we can say the heat required to raise the temperature by delta T is delta Q is equal to Ms delta T. So just put the value Ms and delta T. So using the principle of calorimetry, heat lost by aluminum is equal to heat gained by water plus heat gained by the calorimetry. This is the principle of calorimetry. So heat lost by the aluminum, that is MaSa T1A minus Tf. All right. And heat gained by the water MW SW Tf minus T1W plus heat gained by the calorimetry MC SC Tf minus T1W. All right. Now substituting the values and solve this, you will be get the answer. So just put the values. So this one Ma 0.047 kg into Sa temperature 373.15 Kelvin minus 296.15 Kelvin. This is the LHS side term. If we talk about the RHS side term, so it will be 0.25 kg into S is 4.18 into 10 raised to the power 3 joule per kg per Kelvin. All right. TF minus T1W is 296.15 Kelvin minus 293.15 Kelvin. Alright, plus MC, that is 0.14 kg into SC, 0.386 into 10 raised to the power 3 joule per kg per Kelvin. TF 296.15 Kelvin minus T1W 293.15 Kelvin. Alright, so this is the principle of calorimetry. Now the remaining part is just solve using the simple mathematics. Alright, so solving for SA, so it will be 0.047 into SA into 77 is equal to 0.25 into 10, 4.18 into 10 raised to the power 3 into 3 plus 0.14 into 0.386 into 10 raised to the power 3 into 3. Alright, so it will be 3.619 into SA is equal to 3135 plus 162.12. So 3.619 into SA is equal to, when we adding this, you will be get 3297.12. So SA will be 3297.12 divided by 3.619. Alright, when we solving this term, you will be get SA, specific heat capacity of aluminium, 911.06 joule per kg per Kelvin. Alright, so or we can say 0.911 kilo joule per kg per Kelvin. Kilo means 10 raised to the power. Alright, so this is the specific heat capacity of aluminium. Therefore, the specific heat capacity of aluminium is approximately 0.911 kilojoule per kg per Kelvin. Summary. Heat capacity S is the heat energy needed to raise a substance's temperature by 1 unit. Mathematically, it will be S is equal to delta Q divided by delta T. Alright. Specific heat capacity small s is the amount of heat required to raise unit mass of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. So it will be S is equal to S by M. So when we put the value of capital S in here, you will be get the specific heat capacity. Molar heat capacity, capital C, is the heat required to raise temperature of 1 mole by 1 degree Celsius. C is equal to S by mu. Alright. For gases, heat capacity is measured at constant volume CV and constant pressure CV. Water has highest specific heat capacity 4186 joule per kg per Kelvin, making it excellent for cooling or heating applications. High specific heat of water explains why coastal areas have moderate temperatures compared to deserts. Calorimetry is a technique to measure heat transfer using an insulated container called calorimeter. Principle of calorimetry. In an isolated system, heat lost by hot body equals heat gained by cold body. Calorimeter consists of a metallic vessel with stereo inside the insulating jacket to minimize heat loss. In calculations, total heat exchange in calorimeter is balanced using heat lost is equal to heat. Alright. Now we have some practice questions for you. First, calculate the heat capacity of a substance that requires 2000 joule of heat energy to raise its temperature by 5 degrees Celsius. Second, a 500 gram copper block has a specific heat capacity of 385 joule per kg per Kelvin. How much heat energy is needed to raise its temperature by 10 degrees Celsius? Third, What temperature change will occur when 4000 joule of heat is added to 2 kg of water? Given specific heat capacity is equal to 4186 joule per kg per Kelvin. Calculate the mass of an aluminium block. Specific heat capacity is 900 joule per kg per Kelvin. That requires 1800 joule of heat to increase its temperature by 10 degrees. A substance with mass 0.25 kg experiences a temperature rise of 15 degrees Celsius when 3000 joule of heat is added. What is its specific heat capacity? So here you have to find out the specific heat capacity. All right. So these practice questions, this is all our homework for you. Clear? Thank you for your attention. The first question, the specific heat capacity of a substance is defined as option, the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 kg of the substance by 1 Kelvin. Second is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 mole of the substance by 1 Kelvin. Option third, the ratio of heat capacity to mass. And last one, the ratio of heat capacity to molar mass. So here you have to find out the correct option. Which one is the definition of specific heat capacity? First, second, or third, or fourth? Please solve. Here question is specific heat capacity. So the correct answer is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 kg of substance by 1 Kelvin. All right. Second one, if the same amount of heat is supplied to equal masses of water and mustard oil, the temperature rise will be what? Higher for water, option A. B, higher for mustard oil. Third, equal for both. And last, depends on heating arrangement. So which option is correct? Please find. You have to find out the correct answer. We know S is equal to what? S is equal to 1 by m delta Q divided by delta T. Yes or no? So using this concept, please solve this question. Select one. Third one. Which substances has the highest specific heat capacity according to table 10.3 in NCERT? So first aluminium, second water, third ice, and fourth mercury. Which one is the correct? Which substance has the highest specific heat capacity? Please solve. Aluminium, water, ice, or mercury? Which one? What? All right. Next question. The molar specific heat capacity at constant pressure Cp for nitrogen gas N2 is what? Given options. Option A, 20.8 joule per mole per Kelvin. Option B, 29.1 joule per mole per Kelvin. Option C 28.8 joule per mole per Kelvin, and last one 29.4 joule per mole per Kelvin. Which one is the correct? Please solve. This is given in the table. For nitrogen, it will be 29.1 joule per mole. All right. Next one. The heat capacity S of a substance is related to its specific heat capacity. Given by S is equal to S into M. S is equal to S into M. Option B, S is equal to S by M. Option C, S is equal to S into delta T, and S is equal to M by S. Which one is correct? So here we have to find out the relation. So specific heat capacity S is equal to what? Capital S is equal to delta Q divided by delta T. Yes or no? And what about the relation? We solve. We know small s is equal to capital S by M, where small s is equal to capital S, that is delta Q into delta Q divided by delta T. Yes or no? So this one. So the relation is S capital S is equal to small s into M. All right. So which one is correct? Clear? Save and submit. So these are the solutions. For first, specific heat capacity of a substance is defined as amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 kg of the substance by 1 Kelvin. This one is the solution. S is equal to 1 by M into delta Q divided by delta T. All right. Second one. If the same amount of heat is supplied to equal masses of water and mustard oil, temperature will be higher for mustard oil. The explanation is this. Specific heat is this one. S is equal to 1 by M into delta Q divided by delta T. And delta T will be delta Q by MS. Yes or no? Since mass and amount of heat supplied are same for both water and mustard oil, therefore we can say change in temperature is inversely proportional to specific heat. Delta T is inversely proportional to specific heat. Yes or no? The substance with less specific heat capacity experience rise in temperature. So if we talk about the specific heat of mustard oil, this is 1965 joule per kg per Kelvin is less than that of water, 14186 joule per Kelvin per. So temperature will be higher for mustard oil. Okay, this value is small, so delta T is, this value is high, so delta T. If the same amount of, this one, third question, which substance has the higher specific heat capacity according to table 10. So amount of it is water, 4186 joule per kg per Kelvin. All right. Fourth one, the molar specific heat capacity at constant pressure Cp for nitrogen gas is, and this is given in the table. For the molar specific heat capacity at constant pressure Cp for nitrogen gas is 29.1 joule per mole per Kelvin. All right. And last one, the heat capacity del S of a substance is related to specific heat capacity small s by watt. So here you have to find out the relation. So we know capital S is equal to delta Q divided by delta T. If we talk about the small s, it will be what? Will be S by M. This is S is equal to 1 by M into delta Q divided by delta T. Delta Q divided by delta T. So we can say capital S is equal to S into. Alright, solution is this one. Heat capacity S is equal to delta Q divided by delta T. Specific heat capacity this one. So S is equal to S by M. So relation, correct relation is. This is very simple question. So this is the TPP. Thank you for your attention.